My name is Anthony Colli, and I'm a photographer and educator born and raised in the United States. My family immigrated from Yucatan, Mexico in the mid-90s, bringing with them stories, traditions, and food that shaped my early experiences. Growing up, I heard stories about Yucatan, its culture, its people, its history. We celebrated through the food we ate, the holidays we observed, and the language spoken in our home. But as I got older, between the influence of the US educational system and the natural assimilation that came with my family adapting to a new country, I felt a growing disconnect from my roots. Now, I want to change that. Over the next few months, I will be conducting research on Yucatec culture in preparation for a 3-week field study in Yucatan, Mexico. My goal is to reconnect with my roots and explore the broader concepts of Latinx identity and cultural sustainability. We are living in a time where cultural identity is at risk and fear is on the rise. Many communities, including Latinx and indigenous groups, face cultural erasure through systemic oppression, forced assimilation, and historical rewriting. At a time like this, reconnecting with our roots isn't just personal, it's necessary. It's an act of resistance and an act of preservation. Honoring our lineage, our traditions, and our history is more than remembering. It's about ensuring these stories and practices live on for future generations. To honor my roots, my research will focus on key aspects of Yucatan culture, including Yucatec folklore, featuring myths and stories passed down for generations, the numerous rituals, ceremonies, and celebrations that define Yucatec identity. I will also be deep diving into the flavors and techniques that make Yucatan cuisine unique. Additionally, I will be exploring historical sites, local markets, and the everyday spaces where culture thrives. The next few months will be dedicated to intensive research, funding acquisition, and logistical planning. The structure of my research includes 4 months of research, outreach, and grant writing, connecting with cultural leaders and organizations in both the US and Yucatan, planning travel, accommodations, and schedules, conducting on-site research in Yucatan, which will culminate in a photography series and video documentary, and a final research paper analyzing my findings through the lens of cultural sustainability and pedagogy. Beyond this project, I hope to submit my work for potential publication and exhibition, sharing these findings with a wider audience. So, how does this connect to education? How does this go beyond personal exploration and contribute to culturally sustaining pedagogy? 1. Reclaiming and sustaining cultural knowledge. By researching and documenting Yucatec folklore, traditions, and food, I am actively preserving knowledge that might otherwise be lost, particularly among diasporic Latinx communities. This work ensures that Yucatan heritage remains accessible for future generations. 2. Centering marginalized histories and perspectives. Mainstream education often erases or simplifies Indigenous and Latinx histories. My research challenges that by providing a community-centered, in-depth perspective on Yucatan, amplifying the voices of local artisans, historians, and cultural leaders. 3. Making learning relatable for Latinx students. For many Latinx students in the US, their heritage is something they feel disconnected from. By creating content that reflects their identities, I hope to help them see that their culture is not just important, it's worthy of academic and artistic exploration. 4. Bilingual and multimodal storytelling. Traditional education often privileges English and Western academic formats. Through bilingual vlogs and a visual documentary, I aim to make knowledge more accessible and break language barriers that often exclude non-English speaking communities from academic discourse. 5. Community engagement and reciprocity. This project isn't about taking knowledge from Yucatan, it's about contributing to the community. Through interviews, collaborations, and shared storytelling, I want to ensure that the communities involved in this research also benefit from it. 6. Shaping future pedagogical practices. As an educator, this research will inform the way I teach Latinx history, identity, and culture. It provides a model for how teachers can integrate cultural sustainability into their classrooms, something that benefits all students, not just Latinx learners. At a time of cultural homogenization, gentrification, and loss of ancestral knowledge, this work is an act of cultural resistance. Through culturally sustaining pedagogy, we can ensure that Latinx and indigenous cultural practices aren't just remembered, they continue to be practiced, valued, and passed on. Follow along as I share more about my research, my discoveries, and my journey back to Yucatan. Let's explore our history together.